We're the voice of the voiceless. Enough said.
Hey, so welcome back. We're doing 2 episodes today. Welcome back to Enough Said, hosted by Gemmo, Carolite, and Cherri Poet. This topic will be something nicer and lighter and red and cherry. Love at first sight. So I don't know, Gemmo, Carolite, who wants to go first?
Well, I believe in love at first sight. I remember one day, once I was in the Boston Garden. This is during a church service. And I remember seeing this young man just walking across the aisle. And I mean, this is a place filled with like 7,000 people. And when I saw the walk, my eyes got wide, my jaw dropped, I choked up. But there was no way that I expected to ever meet this person. You're talking in a midst of 7,000 people. Well, it turns out that I happened to meet him again. And we actually went out on a date. And it was just glory. It was really, the man was hot. You know what I mean? He was like a, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson hot. He was hot.
So he had the Denzel walk.
He had the Denzel walk, and he just was hot like Dwayne. And it was. I mean, I do believe that it wasn't like both of us loved fell in love with each other, but he could have been a guy that I would have said, had it reciprocated, that would have been love at first sight.
Let me say that I am the type of person that never want to rule out anything. So yes, there can be love at first sight. However, having said that, I really believe in most instances it's more attraction at first sight or chemistry at first sight rather than love. I think love comes with time. So, it depends on your definition of love. I believe that when you have that chemistry with somebody, then you're attracted to that person, you want to move forward. But is it really love until you really know the person? Because you remember that old saying, see me and live with me are two different things. Yeah. So, until you know that person and live with that person, you might think you're in love, but the same thing that you fell in love with them for is the same thing that's going to annoy you about them later on in life. Mark my words. So I don't 100%, even if there's love at first sight, I think it's rare.
Let's say Cherri Poet.
I believe in it, because when I think about my first love, it just kind of happened. You know what I mean? I was looking like a complete fool. I had ran out the house with my hair all over the place. And another girl who was living with us was chasing me down the street. And I go down the street and all these guys are down there. So we pause and try to run back. And the guy is like, hey, and the minute I saw him, it wasn't even about looks or anything. I just knew that I would love this man. You know what I mean? I just knew it. I just knew it right away. And that's just what happened. So I believe in love at first sight. I think if it takes too long for you to get into it, then that person is not for you. I think, and a lot of men say it too, You'll have a man who's been with women and he's cheating and he's doing all these things and he's treating them badly or whatever, using them. And then he'll tell you, when I meet the woman, when I met my wife or something like that, I knew she would be my wife. The first time I saw her, I knew that would be my wife. I knew everything would change.
I know of relationships where they grow on each other, they grew to love each other. I know of relationships where they hate each other at first sight. In fact, if you read some of those Harlequin series, it's like this love-hate, or I can't stand that person and I grew to love him. So in my opinion, there's no one formula for love. It varies depending on who the person is and what it is. The love at first sight is the romantic lot of movie going type of thing, but it doesn't always happen that way. You know, I just believe that patience and love can grow over time. I guess that's what I want to say.
Well, what I want to say is with this love can grow. Yeah. You know what I mean? I remember one of my older cousins told me when I was a little girl, she told me, you know, a woman can't make a man love her, but a man could make a woman love him. So, you know, you could meet a man that makes you, you know, you don't really like him, and he grows on you, and because of how he treats you and deals with you and takes care of you and cares about you, you grow to love him. But that's different from I think that's a different kind of love. You know, that's like your mama's love. You know, that's like your mom at her age fall dating somebody, and because they're dating, they love each other because they're each other's friends. You know, that's different from being in that kind of love where it's like everything is just goo goo gaga. You know what I mean? Everything feels so great and special. You can't stand not being around them. You want to be with them every second of the day. You know, that love, that type of love, I believe can happen at first sight, as opposed to being something that grows on you because, well, you know, what else is out there? You know, I might as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? I might as
Right.
well stay with him because he's good. You know, he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
And that is exactly what I agree with you, Cherri Poet, because I believe that there is an adrenaline rush. There is a feeling that you get when you're in love with that person, or the first sight love, or it is something that you just know. You just feel something, you know something.
Yeah.
And that feeling is not compared to those persons who are saying the love grows on them.
Yeah.
I believe love growing on a person is more two people learning to accept and to tolerate each other, pretty much like how brothers and sisters would do, because we have to live in the same house, we get along. And, you know, after being, you know, anybody who is in each other's company and space for a long time, you know, can grow to like the company and the space. But the real, in my opinion, the real, what is it called? Agape love, the romantic love. To me, that's a different type of love. It's a love that you feel from the very beginning. The person might say something, they might just touch you. You know, their voice, something about them, and before you know it, you're trembling, you know, that type of thing.
Those are the exact type of love that ends up mostly in divorce. So sorry to burst you all bubbles. The arranged marriages where a person don't see each other until maybe a couple of days before the wedding lasts even longer. So I'm telling you guys, it's not that black and white. You guys read too many romance novels and watch too many love stories on TV.
But isn't that just an acceptance thing though, Gemma? When, you know, you say the arranged marriages don't end up, they're expected not to. It's like people who go to church. Two people who get married in church, they're not really expected to divorce. So as long as they stay in church, they tend to tolerate and put up with and just keep the marriage going, just to say they're married, as opposed to really happy in the marriage.
Because they can get divorced too. I mean, a lot of those people leave each other eventually if they're not working out. What you guys, you guys miss the ones that are with each other because they want to be with each other. You totally eliminate.
Or because they couldn't find anybody else.
No, because they want to be with each other. But I am just saying to you that nowadays we have matchmaking services, we have online dating, we have all these other things that have now come in to make you know that the romantic, ooh, you make me excited one is the one that ends up beating your ass, is the one that ends up, you know, a lot of times in divorce. So the karma, don't get me wrong, I am all for the agape, ooh, excitement, and it feels good. But the ooh will never last for a lifetime. You know, there are going to be many times when you're upset that you're same thing that makes ooh, it's gonna annoy the hell out of you.
I've heard that said that you never get married to the person you really love, or that you're in love with. I've heard that.
It's a different type of love. It's not the ooh gaga young people when you're in school.
But it's a love. It's a different kind of love based on, you know, options and, you know, who can pay the bills and all this extra
Right.
stuff that has nothing to do with love. You know,
Right.
It has to do, your definition of love is very young and childish and romantic and Mills and Harlequin Sweekins ish. Love comes in many different formats. And yeah, I'm not putting aside the agape skin tingling type, but I want to tell you, there are a lot of people who are always looking for that excitement, and then when it dies, they want to go away.
But that's the thing about that type of love. That excitement doesn't die. It doesn't.
Yeah, okay, so the same.
Where are you living in?
The same guy that I ran down the street and my hair was sticking up and I was looking all crazy because I was running out of the house, you know, running down the street like a little kid being chased, you know, that same guy is the same guy I love today. We're not together.
But you haven't lived with him, have you?
Today.
Like, you haven't lived with him.
I haven't met anybody that I love like him.
But you haven't lived with him.
What's that?
You have not lived with him.
But
when you live with that guy and because you have such a romantic expectation, as soon as he comes home late one night, or he does something in this, you know, I won't say cheat, but he does something that you didn't like, you're so much on this, that you're going to be so disappointed in him. And the fact that he's, you know, and the guys, they get down off the ooh faster than the girls. We're all on the ooh. I'm sorry, I'm calling it that. The agape was a good word, but the romantic, excited, stimulated type of love, you know, that, and it's mostly a girl thing, by the way. The guys have it too, but they get down real fast off of it. You know, after you start living, they started being just a man that loves the quiet love, I love you type of person. You know, but not all of them are going to bring flowers home all the time to you. You know,
you don't need flowers though. You don't.
I'm just saying the whatever you want to describe it.
You don't know what I'm talking about. The hoo is from the man himself. It can be the way he look, the way he sound, how he raises, you know, how he squint. I remember one guy, he does a little thing with the eye.
He farts.
That make you, no, that make you, it's just the way the person is. So the woohoo is not about, it's who the person is. Like the guy in the Boston Garden, that walk, he had exactly the right type of bow, the bow legs that I am attracted to, and look good, dark chocolate.
Same bow leg is gonna annoy you 5, 10, 12 years.
No, because you have people who are falling in love with each other. You have people who fell in love with each other and they're married now and they're still in love.
Of course,
20, 30 years later.
The rate is higher than the married rate. Of course, there are ones like that. Even those people don't have a who for 25, 30 years. They know they love you. It's a quiet, respectful type of love, but they're not bringing flowers every day.
Yeah, the love that, you know, the love may change as you grow, but you still love that person.
Yeah, it's still love.
Before, at 16, 17 years old, if I knew then what I know now, I would have never walked away. You see what I'm saying? I would have stuck it through. Just like how people like our mom would say, you know, stay with him, he loves you. But when you're young, you feel like you have all these options, you don't have to take these foolishness. And so you never give yourself that chance to work things through. So you just walk away because you feel like you're young, you look good, and all these other guys want you and all this stuff. And so you walk away, whereas you see your parents stay and you say, Mom, why you stay? You know, because Mom knows why she stays. She's grown. You know what I'm saying? She already knows what life is. But when you're 16 and 17, you don't know that you could work through these things. You figure, I'm gonna just walk away from it and let that go. And then 20 years later, you're still thinking about that person, and you realize, you know, had you known then what you know now, you would have stayed.
The thing I want to say is, unfortunately, there's too many marriages that are staying together, and it has nothing to do, with
right.
love,
Just
love for each other. There are many marriages where people are staying together for many other reasons. There's not love. Now, there are those marriages, and it's very few, where the two people loved each other, are in love with each other, stayed together, and stayed in love with each other. There are those marriages, but those tend to be in the mind, less than more. But I believe, like, it just came on The Bachelor, actually. If anybody watches The Bachelor, the girl, as soon as she saw the guy, she felt something. She met about 25 guys that night, but as soon as she met this guy, she felt something, and she said, I think I found my husband.
Did I hear people say that he is just a pretty face and it's not gonna last?
Like Cameron, what is that show we saw with Cameron?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, and they're still together. And there are many people on The Bachelor who find love and are still together.
Yeah, but that wasn't love at first sight, though, for Cameron.
Okay, but in this case, the lady is saying she knew exactly what she wanted. She knew what she was looking for. And when she saw him, the first sight, that was it. He said the same. But what happened is, why they got engaged so quickly is all their dreams and their desire and what they wanted, both of them, matched up perfectly.
I think,
and because of that, she was able to get in love with it. So
I think she's 39 years old and need a baby fast because her eggs are drying up. And that's why she constantly keeps saying, I want to marry. I just see clippings. I don't watch a show, just like on Inside Edition. She keeps saying, I want a baby from now. And he keeps saying, let's get married first. They're not even going to be on the same page. And let me just say this, Cherri Poet. At 16, even though you think in your head that's the type of guy, you're too young, because most relationships at that age, you grow apart. He's going to grow off at 25 or 40 and have a different desire from you do at that age. So you don't sit there and say you wish, maybe it would have worked out, but it's a small percentage. 16 is too young to settle down for someone for the rest of your life.
But Jemo, I'm slightly over, I'm slightly over the half a century, and still, just slightly. So, but still, I wouldn't want a relationship where I don't get that Google feeling, or that.
It's not gonna last. I'm not saying you're not gonna get it, but you have to settle down in your love when you get mature and know it's a quiet respect, and respect is on the same level as love. So if he's giving you a lot of respect, that does not do the same
anything.
level as love. Because if you have love and no respect, I know people who love you, but the guy goes out and cheats all the time. That's and there's no respect. Then you're not gonna stay Google forever. Eventually, you're gonna get disappointed and more disappointed. And
but the point is, who turns you on? I mean, you can have a guy who is very respectful, very sweet, very nice.
No, you have to have love too. But love and respect go hand in hand, and then you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You have to have love.
Yeah.
Cherri?
Yeah. I was gonna say, to your point where you were talking about set up marriages where parents put, I watched a story one time about a man and a woman. Parents set them up, and to this day they set them up at probably 18 years old, and to this day they're together, and they're like what you call a power couple. They're perfect for each other. And they interviewed both of them, and the man said the same thing. I didn't know her. Our parents said that we would be perfect for each other, and that's what happened. And they've been married like 50, 60 years.
That's why I'm saying there's no one formula.
But
Yeah, there's no one-
but is she a happy wife? My point is, I don't see any relationship where if there isn't that agape love, just the love for who the person is that make you go woo or make your skin tingle or something. Those, I don't see those marriages as happy.
They
I
are
see
happy.
them, they look like roommates. They live like roommates, they get along well, but you don't see any romance. You
They're
don't
happy.
see a major attraction. You know that somebody is settling just to make the marriage work, because some people
That's a
are
generalization, Carolite. Carolite, you don't know. It's a
some
generalization.
people are in love with being married more than they're in love with their spouse.
You're in it with the title.
Yeah, they
That's
like the title. They like to say I'm married, but they're not in love.
That's a
When
small
you're
percentage.
when you're in love, like Cherri Poet say, in your young years, and you love that guy, that what you didn't have back then is, like Cherri Poet said, the knowledge to work through difficult times.
It comes about options, you know.
Right.
When you're 16, 17, 18, you feel like you got all these options. So you don't feel like you should work through anything. Whereas your parents, you know, like mom would say, stay with him, you know, he's a good man, he loves you, you know, he's, you know, but he's a man, he's gonna do things and stuff. But you feel as though, look, man, you know, this is, you know, a new time, you know, I don't got to take it and all this foolishness.
And
Walk away from someone that you really love. And in fact, this guy said to me, if you never left me, we would have been together to this day. That's what he said to me.
And most older people I notice, when they're, especially I see men, they're looking for a woman who fits a bill. It's like after you reach about, say, 40, I don't know, you know, when they're older, it's like it's no longer because they love you, is they have a mold, a bill, you know, what do you call it? They have something worked out in their head. They want a lady with a certain earning capacity. They want a lady who look a certain way, who stays and then when they find that person, oh, I love this person. Well, the interesting thing about love is when it hits you, you feel no pain.
That's music.
That was music. No, but when it hits you, you are shocked. You literally are not expecting, most people are not expecting that is the person you're gonna love. You know, sometimes, you know, a guy just look at you or a guy just say something and all of a sudden he gets your attention and you were not expecting, you weren't going out, you know what I mean? Like you ran down the street, you weren't looking for love at that moment. You were at your worst and then boom, somebody says something to you and it's like, and that is how love usually is. But a lot of the older and generation now, and I mean even over 30, they are looking for a specific mold. Right. And love. Do they really love, or are they just in an arranged thing?
A lot of women who are looking for that romantic love, and I believe in romantic love too, and the tingling of the thing, of the feeling and all that. But a lot of times, what I'm trying to say to you ladies is that that's going to die down at some point. And when it dies down, then a lot of people start looking for another person to give them that feeling. And that's where they run into problems.
Like drugs.
Yeah, it's kind of like drugs, I guess. But yeah, so you have to be careful to know that that tingling feeling is not all you should be looking for. There should be, for example, you can have that big tingling feeling for somebody who can't bring a cup of water into the house. They have nothing. And let me tell you, when you're hungry, that tingling feeling disappears fast. So it's more than just a tingling. You have to add something more to it.
And by saying, midnight was but a minute away. Love like a wind blew over my shoulder, and there my breath went. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for tuning in to Enough Said, hosted by Jemo, Carolite, and Cherri Poet. We sure hope you find love. I'm looking for it too. All right? Y'all stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hey, we are the voice
The
of
voice of the voiceless.
Current events, injustice, police brutality, systematic racism, politics. What say ye? Enough said.